Urban legends have always existed, those unproven tales of horror that enable us to utilize our imaginations to fill in more terrifying details with each retelling. Humans have been goading one another with scary tales for ages, even before the internet made it easy to spread them. We react to these stories, according to psychologists, because we have a sick fascination with the unpleasant, and we can't help but love gossip. When you combine the two, you get an enticing combination. In this video, we are going to talk about horror stories that turned out to be true. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for future updates. Urban legends are often met with suspicion. No, necking lovers have never been terrified by a murderer with a hook hand. However, these tales do sometimes turn out to be genuine. Take a peek at these 10 frightening true stories, preferably with a flashlight and beneath the covers. Number 10. The all-too-real corpse decoration.
There are quite a few outlaws here. There's Bill Doolin, but another one here is Elmer McCurdy.
Following his death, notorious outlaw Elmer McCurdy took on a new life. In 1911, the embalmed body of McCurdy became a gruesome sideshow attraction in Texas, with people flocking to funeral parlors and carnivals to view the infamous felon on exhibit. Though it's difficult to keep track of all of his trips, he ultimately ended himself in Long Beach, California, where he was mistaken for a prop. McCurdy was hanged in a funhouse at the New Pike amusement park, and his humanity was only found when a crew member from the 1976 film The $6 Million Man attempted to adjust him, dislodging his very real arm. His body was properly buried the next year. Number 9. The Legend of the Bunny Man.
This evening I have a tale which has been verified as true multiple times by government sources, and has spread across the internet as a result.
If you lived in or around Virginia in the 1970s, you were undoubtedly familiar with the Bunny Man tale. An escaped insane patient is shown in the story butchering rabbits and hanging them from a bridge underpass. The madman is alleged to have progressed to gutting and hanging teenagers in a similar way later on. On Halloween night, locals were warned not to go near the underpass, which is now known as Bunny Man Bridge to most people. The existence of a wandering lunatic in the region most likely inspired this tale. A couple reported witnessing a guy dressed in a white suit with bunny ears screaming at them that they were on private land in October 1970. He hurled a hatchet at their windshield, allegedly breaking it. To emphasize his point, a security guard saw a hatchet-wielding guy chipping away at a porch railing 2 weeks later, leading to the second sighting of Bunny Man. Police attempted but failed to find the guy. While he didn't disembowel anybody, the idea of an adult carrying both a hatchet and a pair of bunny ears is just as unsettling. Number 8. The fake cop trick. You may have been warned by an excessively worried parent or friend about individuals posing as police officers and attacking victims who have let their guard down. While there aren't many officers in full dress or driving marked cars, there have been many recorded instances of attackers impersonating law police, including at least 2 this summer. A guy in Bloomington, Illinois, used flashing lights to persuade a car to stop. After approaching the car, the guy attempted, unsuccessfully, to overpower the driver before they were able to flee. A guy dressed in a uniform pulled up a teenage kid on a bike in Fayetteville, Georgia, and forced him to empty his pockets. Later, while speaking with actual cops, the kid said a second vehicle had driven up with a guy who matched the description of someone who had been arrested impersonating an officer 2 weeks before. Number 7. The Maine Hermit. For decades, visitors to the North Pond region in central Maine have been perplexed by missing objects. Batteries and food were taken from the cottages, while torches were taken from the camping tents. Rumors circulated that a long-term resident of the region would scavenge for food and supplies. They were absolutely correct. Christopher Knight lived alone in the woods for 27 years, keeping an eye on the hikers, canoeists, and other passing visitors. When questioned by a game warden in 2013, Knight confessed to committing approximately 40 robberies each year on average. Despite relatives' and friends' doubts that a hermit lurked somewhere in the woods, his identification showed that someone had been watching and waiting for almost 3 decades. Number 6. The Puebla Tunnels.
They found recently, I think in 2011, here in the city of Puebla, that linked different churches and government buildings.
Folktales concerning a secret network of tunnels buried underneath Puebla City, situated in the southeast of Mexico, were recounted by residents, because no such tunnels were ever discovered for hundreds of years. Many believed they were nothing more than tales. However, a construction team found a genuine tunnel under the city in 2015. Crews started digging the property and found about 6 kilometers of tunnels running under Puebla streets. The tunnels, which are thought to have been built between the 16th and 19th centuries, have now been exposed to the public as tourist attractions. Number 5. The Leaping Lawyer.
Frequently and bounced harmlessly back every time.
Gary Hoyer, 38-year-old Canadian lawyer, died while attempting to show that the glass.
Residents of Toronto will eventually hear about a lawyer who had a strange habit of sprinting full bore into his office windows to show how powerful he was. When he crashed through a window and went soaring to his death, this habit caught up with him. Gary Hoy, a senior partner at a local law company with an office on the 24th floor, indulged in this pastime. To impress some visiting law students, Hoy performed his trademark tackle against the glass on July 9, 1993. He died when the glass eventually shattered and he fell to his death. Number 4. Cropsey.
About 15 buildings here have been abandoned for quite some time. They did a lot of searching for the kids here.
Specifically
For years, youngsters on Staten Island and surrounding areas have been telling stories about Cropsey, a boogeyman who resided in the woods and had a nightly habit of disemboweling victims. No likely, parents assuaged their children's worries by assuring them that no such creature existed. He did, though. Andre Rand was tried and convicted of kidnapping a child in 1987. Rand was later discovered to be linked to a spate of child abductions in the 1970s. He had previously worked at Willowbrook, a now-defunct psychiatric facility. While he denies participation in other instances, it's obvious that Rand's actions had a significant impact on the subsequent word-of-mouth tales. Number 3. Candyman.
As saying his name a 5th time would summon a vengeful, hook-wielding serial murderer.
Candyman, based on a short story by Clive Barker and released in 1992, is still a powerful horror tale about a black artist, Tony Todd, who was killed in the 1890s for having a connection with a white lady. While it's unlikely that you'll be able to summon him by repeating his name in front of a mirror, the concept of a murderer bursting from a medicine cabinet is based on reality. Ruth McCoy, a lady residing in a Chicago housing complex, made a panicked 911 call, claiming she was being assaulted in her apartment, according to the Chicago Reader in 1987. Responders discovered her dead from gunshot wounds. Investigators discovered that her attackers broke through the connecting wall in the neighboring apartment and climbed into her unit via her medicine cabinet. The facility was designed in this manner so that plumbers investigating leaks could easily remove the cabinet and inspect the pipes. Burglars and, in McCoy's case, her killers used it often as a means of entrance. Number 2. The Polybius video game.
Careful, users may experience some slight side effects. The Polybius machine.
According to folklore, in 1981 Portland, Oregon, a video game named Polybius was published for approximately a month. The government intended for the game to be a psychological test. It worked like a narcotic, causing convulsions and nightmares in its users. Government personnel would come in and use the arcade machine to get information about the gamers. Despite the fact that the game was very definitely not genuine, there were a few video game-related events that most likely contributed to the tale. The game Tempest, which was launched in 1981 and caused epileptic responses and motion sickness in some players, was one of them. Another claimed that FBI investigators were inspecting an arcade around the same time, looking into gambling complaints. Number 1. Charlie No Face. Residents of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, were tormented by this 20th century urban legend. According to folklore, at night, a person with a badly burnt face lingered about an abandoned railway tunnel, causing electricity to go haywire just by being there. Teenagers would sneak out to the tunnel in the hopes of catching a sight of him. It turns out that Charlie No Face was a genuine person with a different name than Charlie. Raymond Robinson had been involved in a serious accident involving an electrical wire, leaving him with a scarred face. He became something of a hermit as a result of this, remaining indoors during the day and only going out at night. He didn't do any haunting, though in fact, he was pleasant and would let inquisitive teenagers take photos with him in return for smokes on occasion. Which horror story surprised you that it was true? Let us know in the comment box below. Please like this video and subscribe to TJC Top 10 so you don't miss our future videos. Thank you.